Sylvia, thanks for sitting down with me. Really great to have you here. You are running Simlaw Seeds in Uganda.
Yes.
What would you say are some of the bigger challenges of running a seed company in Africa, and how could we overcome them?
Thank you very much, Marcel. And thank you very much for the opportunity that you've given me to have a talk with you about the challenges that we have in Africa. And I'll specifically talk about sub-Saharan Africa, where most of the farmers are smallholder farmers, and therefore they have low yields, low productivity, majorly as a result of low adoption to improved technologies. These among seed and fertilizers, among others.
Sure.
And so because of that low adoption, it has an implication on the business that I do. Why do they have low adoption? Most of the times, they're not even aware that there is improved seed available on the market. They're not aware. And because they're not aware, even when it's physically available, even when it is affordable, they don't know. But many times they complain, they don't know where to find it, they don't have the money to buy it, but they don't even know what to buy if they had the money. So that for me is a very, very big challenge that I have to address as a seed company to create the awareness. And now because of lack of awareness, these guys have been cheated by illegal seed traders. Because the illegal seed trader will come to their doorstep, and because they cannot identify a genuine seed from a fake seed, they end up buying the fake seed, which now erodes the farmer's confidence, because definitely the fake seed will not be able to give the yield that he's expecting. It will erode the farmer's confidence, but mostly it erodes my business profitability, because eventually I'll not be able to sell any seed to the farmer. He'll say that seed doesn't work. So that's a major challenge. Lack of awareness, presence of fake seed, and now this is made worse by the fact that we don't have a strong regulatory framework in most of the African countries. The framework that should control the illegal trade means we should have strong regulations, such that if a person is caught dealing in illegal trade, they should be having punitive measures to stop that illicit trade. But unfortunately, the regulations are so unpunitive. I mean, there's nothing that can stop this person from continuing with the fake seed. Sometimes they've actually been caught, put in prison for a day or two, and then they come back. They pay very little money, they come back, and they start from where they started. That is a very, very big challenge for us also. If we continue with the weak regulations that we have, and then of course the weak regulations and policies also means I cannot be able to trade my seed outside of Uganda. Why? I do not have accreditation for international organizations that recognize international standards. Talk of ISTA. You must have an ISTA certificate to move seed from one region to another, to cross borders. My lab in Uganda, the national lab, is not ISTA accredited. So that means I can only operate locally. That limits my scope of market, and that limits how far I can go. So those are the major challenges that we have currently that I can.
That's quite.
But in addition to those now, there's another factor. Of course, seed production and seed investment in seed is a huge investment. Running a seed company requires a lot of money, from all the way from research to product development to production, marketing and distribution. You require money along the value chain. But unfortunately, our commercial banks, they are so adamant to fund agricultural activities. They find us very risky. And guess what? They charge us very high interest rates, just like for any other business. I'm talking of an interest rate of about 25%. How can you do business with 25% interest rate? So at the end of the day, it becomes prohibitive. Therefore, we are always cash constrained because we don't have money to run the businesses. But you see, it goes also back to regulation. I think the government should come up and say, agriculture being the backbones of most of the sub-Saharan countries, they should find a way of making sure that we have policies that favor agricultural financing.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. That's an enormous amount of challenges, and it will take a considerable amount of time and effort to overcome those challenges. If we stay a little bit with awareness, what would your expert advice be how to raise that awareness? Is that pamphlets? Is that village meetings? Is that a national seed association? What can we do there?
There's a lot to do. And awareness is not going to be done by the seed company alone.
Okay.
We've tried that. We've done demonstrations. We've done field days.
Yep.
We've called farmers to agriculture shows.
Okay.
All that is good. But until we find efficient strategies that actually touch to the root of the farmer.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to involve government. We need to involve the farmers. We need to involve the researchers.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically we have to come up with a comprehensive communication strategy that is going to address the farmers. And also they need to be trained. I mean, when you talk of improved seed, when you talk of hybrid, what is that? So we need to do a lot of training, apart from doing the radio adverts, apart from calling them to see a well-grown-up maize plant, they need to be trained on how all these technologies work. So we need to do a complete package of a communication strategy. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, good luck with that. We're here at the ISF World Seed Congress 2023 in Cape Town.
Yes, please.
What do you hope to achieve here as a person and perhaps as a company?
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be at the ISF. First of all, when I look at all these numbers coming from across the world, for me, the networking opportunities are so immense. Mm-hmm. We are looking to access quality seed. I mean, that is the vision of ISF. Access quality seed to farmers across the whole world. Mm-hmm. So for me, that fits in very well with my vision. I am going to be able to network with companies that are going to give me good products that I'm able to take back home and be able to sell to my customers as well. So that is number one, networking. Networking with businesses that are going to supply me with good quality seed. The other key one is the knowledge and information sharing. I find a great wealth of information, great wealth. And of course, we need information right now. Of course, as the world is, there's a lot of changing trends. There's a lot of things that are changing climate. What can we do to address it? The answers are all here in the presentations that are going to be made, in the discussions that I'm going to have with the experts like you. I know that I'll not live here the same person. I'll live here with a wealth of information that now will help me to inform the innovations that I'm going to do back home to make seed access better to my farmers. And then lastly, of course, it is a voice. For me, it is a platform. Mm-hmm. To give me a voice, to give Africa and specifically to my company, a voice that we also are out there and we can contribute to food access in this continent. Mm-hmm. So it's a great opportunity for me to be here. Yeah. Fantastic. And I'm excited about it.
So you mentioned some of the fantastic opportunities for African seed companies. What do you hope that the impact will be of this Congress? Because I think it's the first ISF Congress on the African continent in 20 years.
True.
What will the impact be?
True. Majorly, the major impact that I see, we are building a very strong collaboration or cooperation between the ISF, the global seed trade, with the continental association, which is AFSTA. That means then that with the strong collaboration, I've told you the challenges that we have. One of the major ones being regulation. I know that with the cooperation that we'll have with ISF, between ISF and AFSTA and the member countries, we'll be able to create a good collabo and be able to go and lobby individual governments so that they're able to hear us and know the importance of setting good policies and regulations in place. For me, that's a major one. Then the other one is, like I've said, sharing information. There's a lot of information that is going to be shared, not only to my company, not only to my association, but to everybody in Africa. So we shall begin to think there are innovations that we can actually copy from Europe. There are innovations that we can copy from America. And those innovations we can collaborate with other associations and be able to bring them back home here. But the other one also is training. For me, I take this as training ground. We are being trained and we are building capacity. And of course, I know an industry cannot, like ISF, cannot exist in isolation. Yeah. They need their members, and we're part of the membership. So if you build us as ISF, if you build AFSTA as an association, that means it will trickle down to building a strong national association. And a strong national association will also build me as a single company, and together we'll grow. It cannot be a one-man show. We all need to grow together. Yeah, so for me, I think the impact is immense. The impact is immense, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But and you mentioned already the regulatory environment a few times, and of course the most designated organizations to reach out to the policymakers are, of course, on the African continent, would be AFSTA and the National Seed Association, as you say, and at the global level, of course, ISF. What can organizations such as ISF and AFSTA do to help you in your work?
Okay, good one. I think specifically for my work, it is the training and capacity building.
Okay.
For me, everywhere I look, I see a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. We have right now, like I mentioned, people are changing tastes. The world is evolving so fast. Every day there's a new thing. Every day there's a new technology. But if I stay in my country, in my small country, I'll not know this. But ISF is able to bring the world to me. It's like connecting the small dots. Africa is far away from the rest of the world, but with ISF, through ISF, I'll be able to connect the whole world with the whole world through ISF. And therefore, if I connect to the whole world, I'll be able to get commercial exchanges. What do I mean? I'll be able to connect with the premium product supplying companies. I'll be able to get the top-notch varieties, and I'll be able to be very competitive in my company. So capacity building, information and knowledge sharing, and of course, for me, lobby. If I go to my country as Sylvia, the voice is so small. I think for me, ISF, AFSTA is to amplify the voice of the industry. And you're doing exactly that. You're amplifying our voices. And therefore, when we get heard, if they fail to hear me, they can't fail not to hear ISF or AFSTA. So the voice that you add together with mine will take a smile. It will be able to address especially the issues that are external to my business, like the regulatory. So I think that is very key, and it will have a great impact on my business.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Thank you too for the opportunity once again. I am delighted to be here.